All right. Children of the future generation start with us. Maybe I'll start by saying this. The future is an exciting future. Whenever I think about the future generations, I'm always reminded of the famous word of King Solomon in the Bible that says, actually, there's nothing new under the sun. So when it comes to thinking about our future generations, we're always reminding ourselves to be chilled a little bit more, because there must be an answer somewhere out there. Of course, the rate of change is tremendous, and there will be a lot of pressure placed upon the future generation on all fronts, social, economic, or political. But the God that we have is the same God yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and He never changed. So we don't have to worry, but instead we should take comfort in this never-changing God, and we should courageously move forward. Now, for us, we have big dreams for our future generations. We dream of a thriving generations who are grounded in God and a value system that will enable them to contribute positively to the society under pressure. We dream that our future generation will be thermostat and not thermometer wherever they are. They are the salt and light. They don't just tell the temperature in the room, but they can influence and impact the temperature in the room. We dream for our future generation that they will be a generation that is confident because of their firm foundation and not the generation of fear. But of course, as human parents, we sometimes go into our panic moments just thinking about the future. But that's where we are blessed that we do not have to journey on our own. Beside our own extended family members, we have a community of good friends and mentors around us who cheer us on every step of the way. Now, over the next 15 minutes, we would like to share with you 7 lessons that we hope will be of help to all of us when we think about this topic. So point number 1, celebrate success, celebrate events and effort and not success. So my mentor, Kahwi, always remind me that God doesn't call us to be successful, but to be faithful.
And we are living in a very performance-driven society. Even from an infant, the parents worry about why other children are ahead of ours. From the amount of words that they can utter at 1 year old to the whole library of books that they can read by 3 years old, all the way to which Ivy League university one's child got a scholarship into, and to which high-flying, high-paying job he or she landed in.
Yeah. And we are living in the society where we celebrate success more than effort. It is a success culture versus effort culture. Now, as parents, we can so easily go along and reinforce this. Or we can be intentional to do our otherwise. Because everything being equal, it is much easier to go along. So for us, we choose to celebrate effort over success. Of course, we rejoice when they do well in anything. But when they start work, we have to ask ourselves, is it about how much more they can earn or how fast they can get a promotion? And also for us, we really believe in the effort culture because it builds stronger character that focuses on depth and not on quick results.
Yeah, so in our home, we have developed a culture of celebration. So we celebrate events, we celebrate a completion of exam, coming home from somewhere, special occasions, festivals. So this is our family culture that we pass on. So for example, we celebrate birthdays, a lot of birthdays, right? We celebrate birthdays for everyone, right? And so this is the family culture we pass on, and our children, so that when our children establish their own families in the future, we would love for them to always have this culture of celebration. So you see, a lot of celebration, right?
Yep.
So
point number 2, don't whitewash mistakes and failures. Now, we put effort because you see, children will make mistakes and will fail. And very often it is due to their own laziness and carelessness, just like us. And therefore, it's important to call a failure and name a mistake as a mistake. We are not talking here about defiance or disobedience, which require discipline. And that we can talk about it another time. So don't make it a habit, even though we love them very much, even though we are careful not to hurt their feeling, but don't make it a habit to downplay the lack of success. They do need to learn, especially as they grow up, to acknowledge failures and wrongdoings and learn to take responsibility.
Yeah, and because we all make mistakes and we will fail, so we constantly have to learn to apologize when we are wrong. And knowing how to do this is really very, very important so that we can teach our children how to do it correctly. So, for example, I teach my child, when you have made a mistake, apologize. How do you apologize? You say, I'm sorry. That's not the way to apologize. So we have learned all from one another that when you have done wrong, you say, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I did such a thing. I will not do this again. Please forgive me. And that is something that we have to learn all the time. And we are trying to teach that to our children because we are fallible, right? We keep making mistakes. Now, their self-worth has nothing to do with their mistakes or failures. In the midst of all the mistakes and failures, we need to constantly assure and affirm our love and acceptance for them. So Rob Parsons, this is a very famous and renowned psychologist and author of best-selling books. He always say, we can say we love our children, but very often we find it very hard to accept them for their inadequacies or failures. Think about that. We can love, but we find it very hard to accept. So we really need to love and accept them, mistakes, failures, and all.
So the other point is that there are times when we have to, for me especially, try not to say too much when they face failures and they know they make a mistake, especially when they're old enough to appreciate the reasons for their failures. At times like this, a big hug and the listening ears normally work wonders. Right. Point number 3, challenge their comfort zones. Just like us, we grow best when we learn to operate outside our comfort zone. So for us, we think that the best way to prepare our children to face with this future that is filled with changes is to intentionally push them lovingly outside their comfort zone. What are the comfort zones? We have found that different child has different comfort zones, and we need to be very sensitive and intentional to help them, just push them out to break out from this comfort zone. So for us, we do things, for example, when they're younger, we actually send them off in twos, in pairs, to Singapore by bus on their own, and they have to find their own ways once they land in Singapore, when they get to Singapore, cross the border, etc. It is a safe place, but it is still something that they have to learn to do on their own. We send them off to local camps on their own. We try, if possible, not even to send them all the way to the camp, but park them with some other parents within our community.
Put them in the bus and say bye-bye. So when they leave home for studies, which they will, most of them, they will step out of this comfort zone. So to prepare them for this is really our responsibility. So for us, practically, we teach them the very basic things like neatness, cleanliness, how to do laundry, simple food preparation, etc. Now, you may view this differently because cleaning, laundry service, food, all easily available with the right resources. But for both of us, we feel very strongly that these are important starting points to bring them out of their comfort zone. And helping them to learn how to take care of their own needs will help them eventually live and interact better with others. And eventually they will move on into the working world, into marriage, and they will be able to adapt better with the constant challenging of this comfort zone in their lives.
Yep. Point number 4, this is a good one. Do not be a helicopter or drone or snowplow parent.
You know the word helicopter, everybody knows. What is a drone? Snowplow is a new term that I just found out. You just plow away the snow, clear the way for them.
Yeah. Our instinct as parents is naturally to protect this helpless little baby. However, this instinct can backfire if you're not careful, when we do not know how to let go and let them face the harsh reality of life. Now, this is very tough for us. Um, Seeing them falling, seeing them being hurt is extremely difficult. Now, we struggle when we, um, when we try to sometimes see them make mistake and paying the price for it. And the instinct is straight away to jump in and sort things out. But we are aware that in order for them to grow and to be independent adults, they must go through what they need to go through. Now, a simple example is that when they were younger, one of them, or maybe two of them, have the habit of forgetting to bring their books or stationery to school. Then we have a phone call, right? So while we try to save them when we can, sometimes allowing them to face the consequences may help them learn better.
Yeah, so do try not to be a helicopter. It used to be simpler. We used to wave bye-bye and put them on the school bus, but now we have to send a drone after them. So in their teenage years, we need to be wise to allow them some privacy. So especially now with social media involvement, you really need to decide what is allowed and at what age. So just now we talked about a digital device, right? So it's more than just digital device because there's so many other things now. So do we check their emails, and at what age do we allow them to have just access to social media? Yeah. So that's why we talked about communication in marriage. That's really the key. You need to be a united front to manage this. You need to agree on in your own home what works for you, what is that line that you draw. So you need to allow them to make mistakes, to fight their own battles, and they will appreciate us letting go and trusting them slowly but surely. And they will miss home when they leave for studies. So our children, they call very often. We have lengthy video calls, sometimes with meaningful conversations, but sometimes just being there with each other. We can be doing our thing, they are doing their own thing, but we are actually on with each other. And it's so comforting for both us parents as well as for the children. And more often than not, the calls are just to say how much they miss us. So it really warms our heart, because the process of letting go is also a process of them trusting us more as we learn to trust them. So this, on top of the whole barrage of, the video calls, right? This on top of the whole barrage of WhatsApp messages and the stickers. Now they use stickers, that's furiously being sent in the family chat group.
Yeah. So, drone. Fifth point, varying experiences. Now, intentionally exposing our children to the various facets of life is very important. Of course, we have to be very wise in this area. Now, we learn that children's experience in growing up should not be confined to the typical urban middle-class environment, the food they eat, the people they mix with, the game they play. So we do try our best, intentionally try to vary the kind of experience that they're exposed to. We really don't do this well and could have done this much better. But one of the things that really help us is the village that we talked about. So in our earlier talk, we mentioned this, that it takes a village to raise a child. Now, the community that they grow up with, whether it's in church or outside church, is really important because they will be exposed to people of different races, background, culture, and even different countries, right? So growing up in such environment helps the children develops a wider view of life. Now, do you have your own village to do this?
Yeah, we are still learning how to be creative. So we try to bring them for holidays in different places. It doesn't have to be an overseas 5-star holiday. Cuti Malaysia is very, very good to see our what we have locally. It's really an eye-opener. So for example, recently we took a drive to Johor to spend a weekend there. And we did a day outing to this place called Pulau Kukuk. Right, so you have to take a boat. It's really one of the biggest mangrove swamps in this region. And in the midst of all the food and fun, we got to learn a lot of things together. And we also take our children for day outings to eat at the back streets of KL, for example, to see the lifestyle. That's different for them to see that there are different socio-economic needs, So even as close as just KL, you don't have to go very far. And then also with the internet at our beck and call now, we have unlimited choice of videos to watch together. So we try to sit down together. We learn about different things together, from nature to culture to advances in various fields.
Yeah. Now, it may take a bit of sacrifice on our side, time and resource, because this intentional effort. But this is where we spend, we get to spend our time and resource, I believe, more meaningfully. Right. Point number 6. Now, it is caught and not taught. This is the really difficult one. They need to see us adults being real, being authentic, the good, the bad, and ugly. In our responsibility at work, we work hard and we don't run from having to work hard when necessary. Now, even then, now when we work from home, it is even more obvious that they need to see the values that we bring to our workplace. So in our relationship with each other, especially, now they will have to see how we carry and behave ourselves. We carry ourselves and we behave to our friends and people around us. In our lifestyle, how we manage and steward our own time, our talents, our resources, how we spend money. So all these things are important values that we need to be sure, be clear about what are the kind of values that we want to pass over to them. The other part is this, right? When things don't go our own way, are we the complaining parent? Do they hear us complaining a lot? When they see us face struggles and failures, how do we react to that? So we feel strongly that these are the things that is very difficult to teach, but to be caught.
Yeah, and if we complain and criticize, which is very normal, we all naturally do that. Complain about this, criticize who, who, and we are encouraging actually a very ungrateful and actually an entitled generation. So on the contrary, we actually want to show gladness and gratitude in our daily lives. And that's something that we need to do very, very intentionally. Now we do our best. Like now at our age, we have aging elderly parents, and they see how we try to love them the best that we can. And this doesn't come with no struggles, yeah. And the children are watching us. We also have very close knitted extended family, siblings, their uncles and aunties. So our children grew up regularly having the opportunity to play and hang out with their cousins, uncles and aunties. And they see the frustration, of us not being able to be together during this Chinese New Year. And they understand the value of the close bond of the extended family. And all these by and large cannot be taught. So, we take our parents, elderly parents for holiday as much, or they can still walk, we bring them for holiday, So these are things that we try to show and we cannot teach them, right? Mm-hmm.
Yep. And last point, learn to have fun. Learn to do things that bring a lot of joy and laughter to everyone, because this is a very important values. Don't be stressed out parents. I'm one of those who are stressed out parents. I have to remind myself not to be stressed out parents. Learn to trust God and trust the community, and also learn to trust our children for us, yeah, and do our best and chill. Parents, children tell us to chill. And you know what, right? It's really enjoyable when you become adults.
Yeah. So one of the things that we have learned to do really well as a family is to share fun and laughter together. I have a bunch of siblings, right, whom I share a lot of witty, hilarious conversations with. The type that you roll on the floor and laugh on. Yeah. And as serious as my husband may appear to look, he actually has a tremendous sense of humor. So we really know how to have fun and a lot of laughter together. And the blessing is that we all enjoy hanging around one another, and we look forward to family holidays, which is not something we do, but we try so often, but it has become increasingly difficult, and it's so precious now over the years as the children are growing up. So with our older children studying abroad and the younger ones one in secondary school, one in primary school, it's a constant challenge to find time for us to go away for a holiday. So even a short one is so difficult. So when the MCO was declared last year, it was really a bonus family time for us. We had only one child away overseas, but she managed to get herself home in the early stage of the MCO. And after going through a very strict really strict home quarantine, 14 days, we actually had a fantastic extended family holiday that could never have been planned, right? So this is the quarantine. The child is in the room and we all pinda all our food upstairs and have our meals together. And then we exercise together, we bake things together, we play mahjong together, we play card games, and we keep exercising because we had to eat a lot, right? So, it was really a wonderful extended time of fun and laughter. So,
last point.
To
summarize, right? 7 points. Number 1, celebrate effort and not success. Number 2, don't whitewash mistakes and failures. Number 3, challenge their comfort zone, just as we have to constantly challenge our own comfort zone.
Don't be a helicopter, don't be a drone, don't be a snowplow, right? And intentionally expose them, give them varying experiences. And remember that it is a lot of things are not taught, it has to be caught, and learn to have fun.
Right. Thank you.